Hey there, De-Crypt back again with another video for you. Apologies for being away for a couple of weeks. I've had to fly down to, well, I suppose you can call it my hometown, and do some work there for somebody else. In a previous incarnation of my life, I used to actually work for a living, and I had to go and finish a project that I had started a while ago down there. Oh, and not just that, I attended my daughter's graduation while I was there. So it'll give you an idea of how old I am. My daughter's just graduated from university. Anyway, there's not a hell of a lot going on in the dignity token front. News at the moment is pretty scarce. But I am expecting some updates very soon, possibly today. There was talk of an update being sent to us today. But first, I'd like to take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. It's been a pretty controversial subject. Just when we think it's taking off, it gives us another blow and drops a bit again. But I've been doing a little bit of charting, and it looks like we might be heading somewhere. I want to just show you a couple of things. On the chart right now, you can see I've got the Bitcoin US dollar chart up now, and that is basically the one-day chart. I wouldn't say not from Bitcoin's inception, but pretty far back when value was very low. As you can see, it's pretty steady just above zero there, so it didn't have it didn't have a hell of a lot of value at the time. So I want to do a little bit of very amateur charting here, but I think we've come up with something pretty interesting. As you can see the chart here, this was the December climb, and I think it was December the 18th or 16th when it hit the highs like that. 16th, yeah, it is the 16th. And then we had the steady decline. And when we reached this point over here, everybody thought, well, you know, this is the bottom of the trough. We are going to be climbing now. It started climbing nicely, and we had a little bit of a retracement expected. People started taking a little bit of profits, and it started climbing again. But then it started dropping again. Well, this surprised a lot of people, and it surprised me as well. But I think there's a lot of market manipulation going on at the moment. A lot of big institutional investors getting in, and obviously they want to get in at a low price. So they've been manipulating the price a little bit, and things are starting to settle down now. But the last little bit that's happened here is pretty interesting. You'll remember a little while ago I showed you an image of the Wall Street cheat sheet, and I think we are still adhering to that pretty well. We might have just misread it slightly, but before I get to that, I want to show you something. I just want to choose a straight line here. I want to draw a trend line basically from as far back as we can. I'm just going to put it there for now, and if we draw a line all the way to there, let's just say to where it is today, or rather to the bottom of this trough right here, touching on that trough, for argument's sake we can put that there, and then I want to draw a flag. Now, just get rid of these things. I want to draw a flag here and show you something interesting that I've picked up. Okay, we want a straight line. I'm just going to draw it in over here for now. And if we draw it across the top there, let's reposition this one slightly. What we have there is a little bit of a flag. I just want to position these things properly. Now what we see here, these things this is not precise. I'm just, as I said, very amateur charting here. I'm going to show you another scenario after this one, but this is what happened since the December climb, and we've had a couple of peaks rising on there. And if we rest this trend line on top of those peaks, we see we formed a perfect flag, and now we've broken out on the upside of the flag. Now it's very seldom that a chart like this just breaks out of a flag and keeps on going in the same direction. As you can see, I extended this bottom trend line a little bit longer. And what I expect is happening now, we are going to, or we have risen and we're slowly dropping. I think we are going to possibly, I don't say we are going to, but I think we are possibly going to test this trend line and see if we do not break this trend line, if we bounce off it maybe once, twice, 3 times, I think then after that we are going to head out in a positive direction as it broke out. It could have broken out in a negative direction, and then we might have tested that trend line from the bottom to see if we can break through. And if it didn't, we might have dropped even further. But I think, having a look at this now, I think we might be going to test this trend line maybe a couple of times and then head off. And if I show you the Wall Street cheat sheet, I think you might agree with me with what I'm going to, or what I've just said. Another scenario is this one. If I move this to there, this is now putting the entire lifespan of Bitcoin into a flag. Now, as you can see, we are reaching very close to the point, or the end of the flag, you can call it, and pressure is building. Now we can break out either way. We have tested the bottom twice, as you can see, and it looks like we might be down to test the bottom again. After that, pressure is really going to be high, and my guess is, because Bitcoin is so low compared to where it has been in the near distant past, I think if this is how it's behaving now, we are going to probably break out on the upside, and then maybe still come back and test this trend line again. So that is my take on Bitcoin at the moment. We've all been expecting quite a substantial rise, but it hasn't happened for us yet. I'm confident that it is going to happen. These big institutional buyers and that are not going to be getting in forever. At some point in time, we're going to run out of big institutional buyers, and if they have got in at a low price, they've got a lot of money invested in there. They want to obviously chase the price up to get it at a higher price, so that they can sell and make some money. I mean, this is what it's all about. Excuse me. So yeah, those are my two scenarios. Now, I didn't prepare properly for this, you see. I'm going to pause this video right here, and I'm going to just bring up that cheat sheet, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, I am back with you, and I have my cheat sheet. So let's bring this into the picture. And I don't know, those of you that follow JSNIP4 on YouTube would have seen him talk about this as well last night or yesterday. If you look at this entire graph, you can't mistake that point for being the peak there. And we have had the good drop. As far as I'm concerned, this point here is probably one of those 2 points there. Remember, these no two graphs are going to look alike. They will be similar. We can't count on there being 2 or 3 or maybe even 1. There will be 1 or 2 or 3 of these, what they call the anger phase. When it drops and it starts to climb, people think we are coming out of it, and then it drops again and climbs a little bit and drops again. This makes people angry, and this is where people start to panic and sell. So yes, in my opinion, we've had this good drop. As you can see, it drops and climbed a bit. We've had the drop and the climb a bit, and then we had a good drop down to there, and then we've had the next bump down, the next bump down, and now we are heading down this way. And I think we are pretty much in that area right now. JSNIP4 spoke about this in his last video, and I think I tend to agree with him. As you can see, we are going to drop and possibly test this trend line, and then I expect it to break out at that point. I can't see it going any further into the corner. It might, but I think once we've hit, if I look at the angle that it's going down now, it's only going to hit this trend line somewhere there. It doesn't leave much room for it to do anything else but break through on the other side or break through down. Nothing is impossible in this game. So I think those are the two scenarios. And as you can see, once it breaks through here, it is going to go up. And we might have a few small retracements on the way up, obviously. I mean, they happened here. They even happened there. So yes, those are my two scenarios with Bitcoin. As far as Dignity goes, I'm just going to bring up the graph here quickly. It's a pity TradingView does not have the Dignity token listed yet, so this is the only graph that I have. I believe it's on Coinergy, but I don't have an account with him, so we'll have to make do with this. What happened over here is obviously, I know there was some, what they call, in the newsletter they called it family, something to do with family investors or something like that. But big institutional investors getting in with big money. There was obviously some manipulation to get in, and maybe some profit taking once they saw the prices rise amongst the smaller investors. And as you can see, it's basically settled down again. Depending on what news comes out when, I think the market might settle down a little bit more, and we might see some more drops. I know we did have some drops to, what is it, around 10 cents a couple of days ago, a week ago or so. I expect we could possibly go down that much lower, depending on the news coming out. I think it was the 21st that they said that there was going to be big news released. It could be that people at the moment don't want to sell anything because they don't know what's going to happen. They might get caught out of the market, which is not a good thing. But I think we might still see a little drop in value of these tokens before we get the big news, and then probably a sudden rush up to 23 cents or something like that, 25 cents, maybe even 30 cents, as we've seen before already. I think that the next news that we actually hear, the decent big news as they call it, is going to drive us probably to new highs. If you look at where we've been before, it didn't take much to take it up to 30 cents not too long ago. That's my take on everything at the moment. The markets are pretty slow, if you can call it that. I don't suppose there's too much enthusiasm in the markets, but as you can see on the side here, there's a lot of green. This is just my watch list that I've put together. There's a lot of green here. So things are looking okay today. They weren't that good yesterday. But I mean, you can see the gains are very small. 0.5%, 1.93, 0.86, 3%, 0.07, 1.83, 1.97. So the gains are small, but it's green, which is good. And I think we are closing in on a move, put it that way. Once we get into the corner of this flag, I think, well, something drastic has to happen. Or, as I said earlier, we might drop a little bit more, test this trend line a couple of times, and then head off. Or, very possibly, anything is possible. It might break the trend line at some stage and drop a little bit more. And then we'll have to do some more charting. But this is my very amateur take on it. We can put, let me just put the Fibonacci retracement onto this graph quickly. I mean, just take a look at that. I'll just be very imprecise, put it that way. I'll put the bottom, come on. Put the bottom basically at an average of where it used to be when it was before the rise started. There we go. So, okay, we can see now, we are now just breaking through the 0.382 point. I can't see us going as low or breaking the 0.236. I just don't see it happening right now, not at this stage of the game. But as I said, nothing is impossible. I think we're going to test this trend line and then break through and into the, or closer up towards the 0.5 level very shortly. That's my take on it anyway. Okay, that is me for today. As I said, I'm sorry I've been away for a while. It's where I was pretty moderate climate, and I've come back to home, what I call home these days, and it's bloody cold, yeah, and miserable. I'm sitting with my little heater next to me, warming my feet. Why should I be uncomfortable? Yeah, it's taken me a couple of days to get into this. My screen recorder didn't want to work. I've been battling with that to get it to work again. I don't know why, but it is working at the moment, hopefully, and I'm recording this. But it is working at the moment, and I'm hopefully recording this. And that's my take for today. I want to start doing some podcasts. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. I will see you in a couple of days, hopefully, once we get some positive movement on Dignity. I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting some news today, later on today or this evening, for my time anyway. I will let you know as soon as I know anything. Let's get out there and make some money.